Hi everyone, this is Mr. Pumpkin and welcome to my English class. Today we will be learning about paragraph writing. Many of you may be thinking I know how to write a paragraph. Well, this dog has a few tricks to teach you. You wouldn't be here if you thought essay writing or paragraph writing was easy. Maybe you're on the other spectrum and you are asking what is a paragraph? Whether you are a beginner or advanced learner, you will benefit from this lesson. When I'm teaching students, whether it's IELTS, TOEFL, SAT students, helping high school, college, university students, or helping students with their college essay applications, what causes them to lose marks is simply not knowing how to write a proper structured paragraph. Within this lesson, I hope you will learn what constitutes a strong paragraph, some strategies to improve your current writing, and practice the examples I provide. I mean, if I can do it, so can you. So let's go, let's start. Well, let's look at a definition first. A paragraph is a series of related sentences developing a central idea called the topic. Think of this as a thematic unity. A paragraph is a bunch of sentences put together that supports one central idea. Paragraphs work by adding one idea at a time. So I've read so many papers, thousands of papers where students are writing very long paragraphs, sometimes a page long, a page and a half long, and those paragraphs are actually not really paragraphs. There's long sort of rambles and rants because they lack a central focus. Students lose marks for not realizing they have multiple ideas within one paragraph. And so it's important that you realize this. Let's take a look. Don't read the examples that I'm going to provide you next. All you need to do is just to look at it visually. So this example here, you'll see that there is an indent. And then after that, you'll see that visually, it looks like a paragraph because there are many sentences put together. You don't have to read the paragraph, but all you're seeing is that it is a paragraph because there are many sentences put together and visually it does not look overwhelming. But let's look at the next example. This second example is a bad example. Forget the spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes that are here. Visually, this is way too much. This is a real example of a student who's given me this essay and said, here. But this paragraph is way too long, way too complicated, and doesn't have enough focus. There are too many things being written here, and it's very hard for the reader to understand and also for the writer to understand. So let's look at one of the best things that you can do to improve your writing, in particular paragraph writing, which is to understand the structure. They all follow, every single paragraph follows this PEE structure. I know it seems a little bit silly because it sounds like P, but we all do it and you should do it, right? And the idea is that if you understand the first one, it means point, which is basically a topic sentence. The first sentence that governs or controls the entire paragraph. It lets the reader know what you are going to talk about. The second sentence is the example. It can be a quote, a statistic, proof, evidence. Then the third sentence, or the third sentence and onwards, is the explanation or the analysis. And usually I recommend a 3-to-1 ratio. What that means is that for every line of an example that you provide, you should try and provide 3 lines of explanation. If you are providing a 1-to-1 ratio, that just means that you don't have much to say. So it's very important that you are demonstrating that you have something to analyze and that you're actually doing something with the example to connect it back to your point. Now, when you write complicated essays, or when you write essays, you'll be working to support your thesis. But for this particular lesson, we're just learning to understand the paragraph structure, and this in turn will help you learn how to apply this to a grander scale or a bigger project like an essay. Now, when you follow this PEE structure, you are controlling your thoughts. You are basically allowing the readers to digest what you are saying. As mentioned from the previous slide, each paragraph adds one idea at a time, allowing the reader to become increasingly interested in your work, while allowing yourself to gradually craft your thoughts and prove your points. If you throw everything into one paragraph, it will not be effective. Imagine you had a date. I mean, like, if you had a date with someone, do you throw all your charm into the first date? No, don't be desperate. Take your time and gradually introduce yourself. Don't tell them that you want marriage on the first date. You will get instantly rejected. The same thing applies here. Take the time to analyze. You've stated your point through your topic sentence. You've given an example. Now you need to explain and analyze. Don't move too fast and try to fit everything into one paragraph, like the example I showed you earlier, where that student tried to put an entire page for a paragraph. Because you will lose focus, and also the reader will lose focus. What are you trying to say? You will be confused, they will become confused. Your job as the writer is to write clearly and concisely, allowing readers to understand your point, but also yourself. So here's an example of a paragraph that I wrote. This paragraph basically works to show you how I follow the PEE structure: the point, example, and explain. So let's take a look here. Very first off, it's indented, so you indent a paragraph all the time. The first sentence will be the P, which is the topic sentence. Work from home productivity demonstrates the likelihood of this growing demand being long-term. So my topic is looking at the idea of the work from home due to the pandemic and how it demonstrates that this is going to be a long-term policy. The next one is the E, the example. So from a recent work from home survey by the Canadian government, more than half, 58%, reported accomplishing about the same amount of work per hour, while roughly 1/3, 32%, reported accomplishing more work per hour. So I've given a statistic now, or a quote if you will, and now I need to analyze, which is the next one. So how am I going to now analyze this? Overall, most employees can self-regulate. 90% continuing or even exceeding work expectations, which enables them to demand this kind of work accommodation as a permanent policy. The idea is that I combined the numbers 58 and 32 into 90%, and I talked about the idea of self-regulation, which basically bolsters or supports the idea of a potential permanent policy. When employees save time and money on commuting, are given time to tend to personal matters like their children, these new personal benefits allow employees to focus on their well-being and, in turn, foster an increase in productivity. The future of work from home model poses a paradigm shift in the workplace. So the idea is that I'm arguing that some employees, or many employees in this case, are able to save time, they're able to save money, they're able to tend to personal matters like their family, and these new personal benefits allow them to focus on their well-being, which increases productivity. This productivity would obviously allow employers to really reconsider this idea of allowing employees to work from home permanently, because if they're doing the job well or even better, why not? So the future of work from home model poses a paradigm shift, a big change in that workplace. So sort of a concluding sentence, if you will, to sort of sum up the entire paragraph. But you'll see that this quote that I have, which is about 2.5 lines long, is supported by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 lines of analysis. And that's why you need to follow that PEE structure, having a point, a topic sentence, which is in green, the example, which is in blue, and then from there, the analysis or the explanation, which is roughly in 6 lines, 5 to 6 lines, and it's in purple. Following this example, following this structure, will really improve your writing because it forces you to stay on task and being focused. And by being focused, a lot of people can understand what you're saying and trying to communicate. And in turn, they will be more interested and follow your direction. When you're writing a complicated essay on a novel that you've read or a poem that you've read or a particular university application talking about yourself and your strengths, it's very easy to lose focus of what you want to say or why you are writing if you are not following a structure. And this structure guarantees you will stay focused and ensuring a higher probability of people who read it to follow along as well. Here I have given 3 examples for you to practice. I hope that you will take some time to actually look at these. Examine the current issues regarding health, such as healthy diets, leading causes of mortality. Examine current issues regarding education, online learning, e-classes. Examine current trends regarding social media, like their impacts, positive or negative. The idea is that take one of these topics, research one of them very quickly, and write a paragraph. Do what I did for the previous one, which is that I did a little research. I found a Canadian statistic from the Canadian government regarding the work from home model. And then I made an argument. I had a topic sentence, had the statistic, and then I had the explanation. The same thing here. Do a little bit of research, find a quote, find a proof, make a topic sentence around that, and analyze it. If you try all these 3, your writing should gradually improve, especially if you are following the PEE structure. Here are the sources for my particular paragraph, and I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope that you take some time to review and practice, and hope you check out my other videos. Thank you so much.